we should understand things happen. But the key is to try and to avoid things from happening. If they happen every day, you have a problem. But if you put your hard effort, and then if you make the most ridiculous mistake of switching diesel or unleaded with regular unleaded, fine. It's a humor moment, but these things happen. Don't run yourself down. There's a bit of demotivation, and then maybe a lack of inspiration. But whatever it is, our young generation feels Pakistan has no opportunity. And hundreds and thousands of the smartest of our kids are continually looking for opportunities outside Pakistan. They're willing to do odd jobs. They're willing to live in conditions which they're not used to. They're willing to leave their families behind. Parents are dying to send their children away and think it's a sense of achievement. They think they've achieved something by having their children wander the world for better opportunity. Is there opportunity in Pakistan or not? That is the question. Are there challenges? Are there opportunities? My guests are students and a gentleman who has great wit, great sense of humor, a dear friend of mine, Mr. Leon Menezes, who's been the HR manager for Shell Pakistan for the longest time, and now a professor at IBA.
Professor of practice at IBA.
Professor of practice?
Professor of practice means I don't have a PhD.
Okay.
But I have the education qualifications and the experience. So I've got
interesting point you've raised. I'm going to come to that.
Yeah.
Because, okay, great point. I'm going to come to that. Thank you, Leon, for being here, taking the time out. And we have 4 young, dynamic students who are probably planning, I hope they're planning, and looking for careers. Ms. Ariba Shah from Greenwich University, who's a student of Mass Communication and Media Studies. Ariba, thank you very much for being here. Mr. Nasir Sheikh, who's again from Greenwich University and a student of Masters of Business Administration. Thank you very much, Nasir. Ms. Rejah Khalid, again from Greenwich University, who is studying Media Sciences. Thank you very much. And Mr. Aimun Varind, who is from Institute of Business and IOBM. What does that stand for?
Institute of Business Management.
Business Management. My apologies. Thank you very much for being here, taking the time out. Leon, I personally feel Pakistan has great opportunity, huge job market, because as an employer myself, it's very difficult to find good people. But then brilliant, young, intelligent, smart, dynamic students like our guests here say there is no opportunity. If we work here, there is no room for growth and we have to go away. Which side is right?
I'll frame it a little historically, but first, just go back to your earlier point. I've had this business of diesel being put in my petrol car. and it wasn't called the Beast. Anyway.
We wish it was.
I sent someone to fill gas and then he goes, it's the wrong thing anyway. Anyway, so let me say it this way. First of all, I think people going abroad has been a phenomenon for a very long time, right? If you go back to the 70s and the oil boom in the Middle East, Pakistanis have been going abroad. If you look at immigration as an issue, people have been going out again since the 60s.
Sure.
They've been immigrating from here. My cousins in India also immigrated to Canada and the USA and so on and so forth. So I think
Malaysia has a huge brain drain.
So this whole business of immigration and people going for better economic opportunities has always been there. The United States was populated by immigrants. Australia, the same thing. Canada, the same thing. So our need to get out of Pakistan and go here and there and all that, lots of people in lots of countries. So we should never isolate it and think we're unique in the world or we're the only ones having problems. The other part of it is that we're a country of 180 million people. That's tremendous opportunities to market any goods or services that you want to. The fact that things are not going too well right now only means that the opportunity is even bigger. If this was a stable market, if it was Europe, in Europe, the growth rate is so low. In places like India, Pakistan, and the Far East, the growth rates are much higher. So there is a lot of opportunity that can be done. And the fact that 2 of you are from media studies, this didn't exist 20 years ago. The media didn't exist 20 years ago. Look at the technology firms that you have in Pakistan, engineering firms. Look at the agriculture sector. If we narrow our search to, I want a job in a multinational, well, the multinationals are disappearing. But if I want to do a whole lot of other things, Pakistan has a huge potential and market for it.
And this is where I want to jump in. You said you've got PhD of experience. So I'm going to connect that here, and that's what I meant. We don't even know what Leon went to school for. I have no idea what his degree is. I've never asked him, and it doesn't really matter. His personality, his attitude, and just his work experience is all that matters. So, do you agree with Leon on terms there are job opportunities, I won't even say job, but career opportunities?
Career is a better word.
Well, I totally agree with it.
Okay.
I totally agree because if a person is talented, I'm sure that one has an opportunity and a career opportunity, let's just say it, put it that way. And saying that Pakistan is the place that, that it doesn't have career opportunities and people are going out of there, they're going out because they have just heard from people that, the life is very lavish and stuff like that. But in Pakistan, trust me, we are living like kings and queens. It is an amazing place. This is our homeland. And we should serve here. That's what I think. If we have what it takes, then I don't think that there's lack of opportunity.
But then the general notion that there are opportunities?
I would definitely second what she just said. There's no lack of opportunities over here. The only issue that I see in this country is that we have so many students graduating each year, and there are fewer job opportunities available. So there's a lot of people are getting unemployed as well due to that. There are some people who get employed, and then the rest, what are they supposed to do? So they choose to actually go out of the country or look for work elsewhere.
Do you agree with that, Leon?
Look at the unemployment rate in the USA. Okay? And the tenuous nature of their jobs is just overnight. Thousands and thousands of people are sent home. They've got mortgages, they've got loans, they've got all sorts of things, and they can't afford to pay. And you see all these waves coming in. With regard to Pakistan, again, after 9/11, the amount of people that came back, again, for economic opportunities, and they got it. There will always be a competition for jobs, but at the same time, people who have an entrepreneurial spirit and are willing to set up their own things, and again, forget the multinational, forget the large company, you can go into a lot of small companies, with thousands and thousands of opportunities. The industry right now, the way in which it's set up, especially in that stuff that is supported by IT, you can do it from home. You can make a full living and spend all your money never having to leave your home. But there's opportunity.
But I have a point. When my friends here say that there are no job opportunities, I disagree. I think there are jobs, but there's something wrong with the resumes. There's something wrong with the interviews children are getting these days. There's something wrong with I'm sorry I'm being very negative, but there's something wrong with the attitude. There's something wrong with what they're expecting. The job slots are open.
Yeah.
People are wanting to hire, but I think there's a human resource issue.
You're one of your biggest and most robust sectors is the banking sector. They get lots and lots of opportunities, but look at the quality of the people there because they have no customer servicing skills, they have no communication skills, they don't know how to interact with the general public. And then the few who do have that refinement and progress their careers are accused of having sifarish or being related to somebody or...
Good point.
All sorts of things.
They're just better people.
I would like to add something here that the roots of our education are laid in our school days and college days. I believe that we need student counselors as well.
Yeah.
Because what we do is in school days and in college days that we look for on jobs that are highly paid, and we think of our careers as okay, we'll become doctors. Okay, doctors get paid more. We can become bankers. Bankers get paid more. We don't see what we are interested in or what we are better in. So, basically we need student counselors at that time. They can guide us that, this is what you're good at. Go and do this.
I agree, but I don't agree completely. I'll come back in a second. Aimun,
okay, I would second her on that point because, our society basically, our youth basically chooses their careers according to the money they're gonna get. Okay. No one really thinks about what they would like to do. Okay.
Sure.
So if you actually, I saw a video that day. It was quite inspiring. It actually, there was a narrator who narrated that what would you do if money was not an issue?
Sure.
What would you have fun in? And coming to the opportunities in Pakistan, I would say, like job is not a proper word. You would say career. You should encourage. Pakistan is one of the biggest countries, I would say, with entrepreneurial opportunities. I mean, there's so many
And entrepreneurial skills.
and entrepreneurial skills. I mean, there are no
Shrewdest people there are.
yeah. I mean, there are so many opportunities, and there's, like he said, we have such a big population and so many ideas that can be marketed here.
Sure.
And we are very good adopters. I mean, we can adopt anything, any new
We
product.
can jugaad anything. There's no English word for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to share something. I just got an article today, 5 career regrets. And this guy by the name of Daniel Gulati, who's been written several books and whatever not, he says when he's surprised at the number of people that ask him this question, about regrets in career and all that. He ended up talking to something like 300 people across industries, CEOs, all sorts of things. And the first regret was, I should not have taken that job for the money. What you just said. Now, we're all driven by the money, no doubt. It pays the bills and so on and so forth. But there's something else also. When you're growing up, what are the role models you have in front of you? All right? Now, the people that are in uniform have a tangible look. Oh, the military person or the PI pilot or the flight attendant or something that it's very tangible, okay? The doctor wears his stuff and whatever not. You would not really think when you're growing up, I want to be an accountant, I want to be a supply chain professional or human resources, God forbid. But the thing is, this is what happens. Now, I can talk about myself. The universe was very limited. You got a newspaper at home? Maybe. TV came in much later, black and white, one channel, so on and so forth. Now the whole world is open to you. The opportunities are there. Whatever you see that is produced anywhere in the world, you see it real time here. Okay? So, all those gaps have disappeared. Now what we do with it, if we want to cry about it, that's one option.
Exactly. I do not agree with that. That's exactly the point. If you said that 30 years ago, I would say, yeah, we have issues. But today, I mean, really, you cannot say that, the world's open to you.
The world is open, but students basically choose careers that on monetary basis.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Because sometimes you're not interested in doing
But that's
that.
okay. Make the money and do what you enjoy. He made the money, plays golf.
Then again, you're negating yourself.
No,
because that's what you said. Then
I feel, and Leon, please help me. If you agree, there's nothing wrong with chasing money. Please chase money.
Chase money.
Absolutely,
but do something that you want to do, that you love to do.
I will even ignore that for now. But my problem is, I want 100,000 rupees to do a job. If I'm not getting the 100,000, I say, there is no opportunity in Pakistan. Well, maybe there's something available for 50,000. Do that for now.
Yes.
We do not want to do that. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there's no doubt that the money is important. But at the end of the day, where's your fulfillment and your satisfaction coming from?
Self-catharsis.
You look at our poshest areas in the country are the defense societies, okay? People have got these wonderful 5-bedroom houses, they've got the Mercedes there. Do they have fulfillment? Do they have happiness? Do they have relationships? There's so much in your life, more than your career and more than the money.
If you have money, you fulfill.
Exactly.
Exactly. Basically, it's a rat race. Everybody wants to win it.
My friend John McEnroe said, I'd rather be rich and unhappy than poor and unhappy.
Exactly.
I agree. Yeah. But the thing is, if that is the end-all and be-all of your existence, then it will always fail or you will never be satisfied. But if it's part of what it is that you're doing, and really when you love what you do, the money comes. I'll tell you, Bill Gates didn't set out to become a billionaire. He set out to do software, computers, and the money came.
Exactly.
Money is a byproduct of success.
Exactly. It's not the other way around. You don't get the Oscar by saying, I'm going to get an Oscar, I'm going to get a Nobel Prize. That's not how you do your research.
You just do your job.
You do your job and somebody else recognizes.
Rejah, you want to say something?
I want to say that career opportunities, if you're talking about career opportunities, I know Pakistan is full of opportunities, but we have to face several obstacles such as nepotism and favorism. When we go in our practical world, we have to face these kinds of things.
Nepotism, favoritism?
Look, that's a fact of life, no doubt about it, okay? But whenever, I shouldn't have used the word but, because the minute you use but, we're raising this wall that then separates.
Because I want to know, because I've been through this practical thing and I've been through a lot of organization and interviews, so I know.
Okay, let me give you one classic example of mine, which is my favorite example. 2008, Democratic National Convention. The two candidates for the Democratic nominee are Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. If she doesn't get it, it's because she's a woman. If he doesn't get it, it's because he's black.
Exactly.
So whatever it is, we will find an excuse outside of ourselves. Fine, maybe in the scheme of things, you were not supposed to get that job. Maybe it is something better for you. If I ever got whatever it is that I applied for, I wouldn't be where I am today.
And because of this whole thing, our country is facing to brain drain, basically, and which is basically affecting our economy and revenue. Students want to go abroad, they want to do blue-collar job rather staying here.
Well, I think we're generalizing. There are a lot of people who would like to stay here, and there are a lot of people who would like to go overseas. Again, the reason they're going overseas is because they're seeing, as you said, a certain thing. They're seeing the money, or they're seeing a lifestyle, or they're seeing, what you can get in Dubai and stuff like that. Whereas when they go there, they realize it's a completely different life. Even going to the States and Canada, it's no picnic to live there.
I have my mamu in Dubai, and I have seen his life. I went there last year, and I stayed with him for a week.
It's not fun, huh?
It's not fun at all. I mean, I really pity him. He goes to work at 9 in the morning. He comes back at around 10 and 11, and he's getting peanuts for it.
I'm going to talk about that as well. The amount of work we put in out of the country, we put 1% of it here and expect 100 times. You talk about nepotism and favoritism. I'm sorry, I don't agree. If you go to a government job where you want to just leech on to it, maybe. But I think I can even speak for Shah Pakistan. They may, they may have to hire me because my pupa is somebody. But they still need somebody to do the job. And they will choose the best person for the job as well. They will carry me as a burden because they have to do somebody a favor.
Well, I hand on heart, I can say nobody was recruited like that.
But in theory,
let's put it this way: when there is excessive competition, other factors tend to come into play. Okay, but having said that, let me say, as a minority in Pakistan, I've never faced this kind of problem or obstacle or whatever it is. So when people say ye ho raha hai, wo ho raha hai, I'm trying to think, okay, fine, maybe it's true. But sometimes it's also what we bring to the table that is insufficient.
I think it's always what you bring to the table.
Yeah. Look, there are companies that hire within a certain community, within certain sects, relations and whatever not, because that's how they do their business. But at the end of the day, if you really want to produce, because I'll tell you at one time, they used to always talk about Citibank. Unless you're the son or daughter of somebody big, you can't get into Citibank here. But man, do they make you work.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, your name or that calling card or whatever, the phone call will get you the interview, maybe get you the job. After that, you've got to produce.
So it'll only open your first door. That's it.
But
And
there are people who are using malpractices such as fake degrees and
but that's
stuff.
all right. But don't worry about what they're doing.
It demotivates the students
you
who
are
are working very hard.
No.
If you are good, nothing will stand in your way.
If you focus only on the malpractices, then you're not seeing all the other good things and the people who are getting it on merit. And every time you say but, it raises the alarm bell that whatever you're saying is right, but what I'm saying is...
I agree with what you're saying. But, with apology, if you're good, I believe nothing will stand in your way.
Definitely.
You will
Definitely.
succeed. Now, other thing, the amount of hard work we put in the rest of the world, we do not put an iota of that over here.
That's true.
The amount of hours doctors put in there and say, look how much money they make here. I think the doctors mint money here, only they show up on time. And not make you wait for 3 hours.
That's
But
right.
that's another
Another episode.
Another episode. Resumes, attitude, interview attitude. I feel there's a very bad interview attitude. There's a very bad resume attitude, and a lot of young people, they feel because they've come out of a certain school, it's their right to ask a certain amount of money.
There is, and this is where the pecking order in life goes, depending on the school and whatever not. It's not only about the money, but there's a sense of entitlement. That because I've got so-and-so education from so-and-so college and university, I don't have to answer your silly questions, or I don't have to apply myself in the interview. Whereas the interview stage is an opportunity to sell yourself. It's also very competitive when you do assessment centers and stuff like that. And remember, in the scheme of things, there's almost 40 to 50 applicants for a particular job. And then you whittle it down. So the quality of the CV in showing the person what it is that they can do and perform. See, this is a commercial contract. You're going to give me X, Y, and Z because of what I'm going to do, but I should be able to produce this for you at the end of the day. So whether it's in sales, it's in operation, whether it's in the factory or whatever it is, that's what I should be able to produce for you. The first thing anybody sees is the CV. One of the exercises I'm doing with my class, I'm asking them to do an A4 size ad for themselves. If you were a product or a service, what would you be? You know, how would you present yourself? You make marketing plans with what you learned in your BBA and MBA. You'll do annual plans, you'll do advertising, but you don't ever consider yourself as a product or a service. So the CV needs to look really good. Some people put, how would you say, career aspirations on the top, or personal statements that are so vague. You say, what is this person trying to say? A lot of people in their CVs will put job descriptions as opposed to achievements. A recruiter wants to see what it is that you have done or are able to do.
And that does not include, I have a green card and I will give money for my son-in-law to start a business. I have a few tweets from Sarah Khan Azimi, Mr. Rejah Khan, and Tala Masood. I'll read them in a moment, but let's take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to talk about alternate careers and why we are zeroed in the uniform jobs, as Leon mentioned. Let's take a short break. Perspective, and once again a reminder, if you tweet while I'm on the show, I will read the tweet. Whatever you say will go uncensored. I'm not going to censor it. Sarah Khan Azimi has said career opportunities are there, but management is missing. More and more students are doing MBAs engineering, but very few are in agriculture. So we have a vacuum in agricultural sector, while business sector is so overloaded that we don't find jobs easily. So we're not looking at alternate careers. We should talk about that. Mr. Rejah Khan says, doesn't jugaad mean hustling by a hustler? I refuse to accept that. Mr. Tala Masood says, we Pakistanis should not skip this program, giving good arguments about nepotism. Thanks for the optimistic yet harsh. I'm sorry, that was a personal thing. I didn't really have to read that. Mr. Rejah Khan said, please ask for at least one example of a successful entrepreneur with limited or no finances. One success story. And Ms. Aisha Azimi has said, Pakistan doesn't lack career opportunities, but proper counseling institutions on different levels. Everyone blindly follows what booms, ignoring the demand of a particular sector. Do shed light on that, because we pick up careers when they're booming. I should say very well.
Oh, that's very
we do not project 5 years. Like everyone, no offense, everyone went to mass communication and media, not realizing there is no job in media and there's not even a salary in media.
You're supposed to set up your own studio.
Exactly.
Either that, and look at the amount of production houses that are supporting it. If you look at, say, even the advertising industry and what it used to be, everything used to be in the agency. Now you have production houses for advertising, you have production houses for below-the-line staff. You don't keep a camera in the office. You rent everything out. Everything is computer graphics, post-production in some other country, so on and so forth. So the nature of the business has also changed, and instead of it being in a monolithic organization, there are lots and lots of specialist people who are doing these kind of things for a lot of people. In terms of the entrepreneur who's done it without education, I think almost all your businessmen in Pakistan are like that, you know. How many of them have great degrees from any university? But look at the amount of things that they're able to do all over the place.
A lot of people don't know that the biggest money houses in Pakistan actually start with nothing. Hashwani, Akil Dedi, these are all people who started with nothing. The gentleman Rajasa, the Vespa group, started with nothing. So there are massive money has been made.
Most of your people, I think, on the stock exchange or your stockbrokers also, you know, they were working for other people. I even know the story of Mr. Jahangir Siddiqui and the opportunities that he had were very limited. He was studying his chartered accountancy, he was working part-time. Somebody wanted to buy a brokerage firm or sell a brokerage firm, and that's how he got into it.
This question is important because people think that the land of opportunity is the U.S., and there, if you have no money, you can still succeed. But I think this is where the land of opportunity is. You said the growth of markets. If you're in Germany, having 2 PhDs means everyone has 2 PhDs. So if everyone's a doctor.
Yeah.
Here, if you've done your matric, you're highly educated. So I think there's massive opportunity here. Alternate careers, Leon. Shed light on that.
Well, I think in terms of alternate careers, and this is what I was going to say anyway when we started talking about it. Today, 2013, this is the universe and this is what I'm trained or qualified or I've studied to do. The world will change in 5 years and again in 5 years and so on and so forth. So then it's about me being relevant in the newer world. Today I was sharing with the class a whole list of products that have become obsolete in our own lifetime. They are much younger than I am. Companies that have come and gone. Big, gigantic companies come and gone. So it's about being relevant and being able to provide the services that people are looking for.
And evolving yourself.
Evolving. So that is the whole thing. We think that because I've got this degree now, that's the end of my studies, and now it's only about working and earning and working and earning. It doesn't happen that way. It's a continuous process of being up to date with what the competencies of your job are concerned, especially if it's of a technical nature. Look at a doctor's role now. He has to deal with so much of technology. Media previously would sit with a piece of paper and that's it. Now you're tweeting, you're Facebooking, you're doing all sorts of things and texting at the same time. And you've got to run your show like that, whether it's radio or TV or stuff like that.
The other day I was told of Nasir Faruqi, may God give him life, the cardiologist. Apparently he goes for training, like 6-week training every year. At this point in his life and career, and that's why he's relevant and he's so successful.
Yeah.
So evolution and learning is crucial. Now evolution and learning, I'm going to take to another direction where Leon and we were talking about before the show. We have lost the reading habit. I hope the camera got that look of you.
I can do it again. Action replay. No, but
that is so true.
Yeah.
Why don't you read? And reading, you don't have to read 1,000-page novels.
Yes.
There's so much information being thrown at you. Why is your generation not consuming that information? I want to know. And everyone has a smartphone here.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I believe
so we
is
want a
that,
smart answer as well.
Yes. What I believe is that it comes from your parents, from your home. If your parents are reading, that is your first institution. Where you're born in, that is your first institution. I believe that your parents should tell you to read something. If you see your father reading a newspaper every day, maybe after when you're big enough to read, you're old enough to read, maybe you'll sit and you'll try to read it out. Like my father, I just saw him reading newspapers.
You're hurting, right?
No. The thing is,
we're both hurting.
That was then. This is now.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
my father did or my father didn't.
Thank you.
Yes.
What am I doing?
Yes, I.
But you know better.
This is my example.
No.
Like my father used to read a lot. He still reads a lot. We used to get a lot of magazines at home, and if he used to sit idle on the table, he used to ask me, didn't you read today? What's wrong with you? Why aren't you discussing anything? So
I choose to read only the things that are relevant to my interests only. So general reading newspapers is not what I follow. So let's say if something comes interesting comes around marketing, branding, perspectives like that and things, I definitely keep a check on those. I've even subscribed to few self-services.
Okay, I've already been accused of saying harsh things, so please forgive me. So if we were to have a conversation, if we run into each other at dinner, at a wedding, and you and I on the same table, what will we talk about? I know nothing about marketing.
Well, I can definitely brief you on things.
I don't want to be briefed. I want to have a conversation.
Yeah. So this is how you're actually going to pick up on those things.
How about current affairs?
Law and order situation.
Law and order situation.
No, but those are beaten to death.
Everybody can talk about it.
Those are things that you can actually get on yourself.
No, that's Pakistani sport. We don't talk about how's the weather. We talk about have you been mugged.
Exactly.
But that's what Leon and my point is. In today's day, you have to have an overload of information. Why aren't you consuming information, Rejah? Aimun, both of you.
We have social media basically, and we, read whatever you want to read on web. That's
but are you consuming that?
Reading the web is fine.
That's perfectly all right.
Yeah, your newspaper is good for swatting flies and wrapping fish. but you
exactly. We do read, but we read whatever we want and according to our will.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, to the extent that, say, like somebody who is a cricket journalist, he would read a lot about cricket, but he has to know wider things of what's happening in the world.
The general information has to be consumed.
Issue. Because if you're running a business, if you're going in for an interview, whatever it is that you do, you have to know about the wider world. My other concern is that people don't have a historical perspective of anything, and they see gloom and doom, oh, Pakistan, doob raha. But the thing is, look at the empires that have come and gone in our lifetime. Nations have come and gone, so on. So these are processes that we have to go through. Fine, we'd rather get to the other end sooner rather than later. But the thing is, these things are there, and because we don't put perspective around it, we are just continuously focused on it.
But the counseling is it keeps coming back. Fatima Irfan says, watching your show, and I really like the idea of having proper counseling. Yeah, like having proper counseling sectors in different institutes, we really need that.
See, I was right.
No, you're not right. Just because two people are wrong. If two people are wrong, it doesn't make it right.
But I'm told that most schools have counselors now. I think the Beacon Houses, I was listening to a program on radio the other day. They said counselors from, I think, before class 8, because that's when you actually make those choices that you have. I know that the grammar schools have it, and all the other schools don't have counselors. But maybe.
I would like to add, I mean, it's not only the counselors that can help, okay? It also comes from home. I mean, the parents, they actually force their children to the career they want them to be. Okay?
Yeah, let me just share something on a lighter note. Because when you come into the working world, companies are expecting you to take on this leadership role and, manage your own careers and do this and that, the other. All your life you've been told what to do by your parents, told what to study, told whom to marry. Yeah. And all of a sudden you're supposed to be this great big independent person. And it doesn't work.
Yes, it does.
Okay, sorry.
Yes,
what did your dad? What did your dad want you to be, or your parents, or
nothing? They were aghast at the fact that I was a professional musician.
Oh yeah, I forget. Oh. We need to get you here with a guitar. No. I completely forgot Leon sings.
No, it's just, how would you say? I think it's also a generational thing. In those days, maybe parents weren't that ambitious. By the way, in those days, if you had a matric degree or bachelor's, you were the king. You could get any kind of a job with a BCom.
Oh yeah.
Now you can't even get into an MBA school with a BCom, yes?
Because there's a lot of competition going on.
Competition.
Okay, but I'm going to completely dispel what you're saying about the parents. My father wanted me to be an electrical engineer.
Wow.
I am an electrical engineer. I have nothing to do with electrical engineering. I am in the software business. I'm a public speaker. I am a TV anchor. I don't even know where my degree is. Every now and then when I have to apply for a visa, that's the degree, I pull it out somewhere. I'm an electrical engineer, so that degree lasted exactly a year and a half after I came out of school. And never again. I mean, we have no electricity. What electrical engineering?
I would ask you a question. I mean, if you would have gotten the chance to do that from before what you want to do.
I didn't want to do anything. No, but I didn't want to do anything.
You wanted to be IT?
No, I still don't want to work. Leon doesn't want to work. He left. He also, we had a plan. Leon had a plan to make money and chill and play golf.
That's it.
Who wants to work?
I want to work.
But you could have been a different person if you were allowed to do what
I'm
you
pretty
want
good. No. The point I'm trying to make here is, education is just a learning tool. Leon said very well, every 5 years the game is changing. So the game is changing for all of us every 5 years. The game is changing for Leon every 5 years.
I think the biggest advantage of a good education is they teach you how to think, how to analyze, how to look at patterns, and really, because whatever you go and do in the real world has nothing to do with what you learned. Yes. But if you have learned how to think, you will be able to solve it.
Education is a tool.
Yes.
It's a learning tool to learn.
Not an end in itself.
It's not. Please go on.
I would completely agree with that. I had a teacher who once explained us why do we do so much math. Okay. Basically, he told us that although you don't use it much in the real life, but math actually expands your logical horizon. I mean, you start to think better. Okay. You don't know it, but subconsciously, math does help you in finding solutions for different problems.
Math and language, because math gives you the logical way of working. Language gives you all the other abstract bits that come into it.
And I wanted to add one more thing here. That going back to the topic again, that you actually asked a question about the resume and the attitude of students going for the applicants actually. The problem is that I have went through a few interviews. And what I saw was that since level 1 in an institution, like I had 5 interviews there, and all of them asked me somewhat the same questions, like around 20 questions, and same, again and again and again. So I think that it's not only about the person who's giving the interview, but the interviewee himself is also flawed.
I think I have an answer to Leon.
That's a very good point, because I think most organizations don't have structured interview process. They don't train the people on how to interview, because there are certain things that you never ask in an interview. You don't ask people's marital status, their age, how many children they plan to have, who your parents are, what they do.
I was asked about my father's career, how much he earns, and everything. And I was like, do you want to hire me or my father?
Yeah.
And it is a huge institution that I'm talking about. It's a private institution. It's a huge channel that I'm talking about right now. And they have asked me like 5 times that what does your father do? What does your elder brother do? How much does he earn? What car do you have?
Yeah.
Okay, in the defense of the interviewer, I like to again. I'm really disappointed by this generation. So I'm sorry. My apologies. My humble apologies. Because there isn't much that can be asked of you.
Why not? There is so much.
No, I'm serious. An interview is not question answers.
No, but but in a structured interview, in a structured interview, you will ask about a situation in your life. What did you do to overcome it? Then you ask a whole series of questions from that. It's not a question and answer,
it's a conversation.
Yeah, it's a conversation. But it's structured in the manner that you are looking for behavioral competencies in a person. And most organizations, or good organizations, have moved into behavioral competencies. So they usually don't ask you theory or theoretical questions or anything of the sort. They may do that to screen you. The general knowledge test, this, that, and the other, because all the sifarishis will come fail at that stage. Then when they're actually investing time, because senior people have to do the interview, they ask you behavioral questions to determine how you handle certain situations and how you will be able to handle it in the future.
But my personal experience, if I'm interviewing, my first question is, so how are you and what are you doing with life? And now it's up to you to take the conversation. If you don't, then I'll ask you stupid questions. So where did you go to school? What did you do? When I'm asking those questions, it means I have nothing to talk to you about. So again, the art of conversation, what I talked to you about earlier, what we talk about, the art of conversation, the gift of gab, that is the biggest. Frankly, I'm going to be very honest. Leon's a friend, I can say it. Why is Leon a guest on this show tonight? He's got the gift of gab. He can hold a conversation forever. We can deflect into 20 subjects, and we'll have a conversation. And that conversation will get you the job. I'm going to read a few tweets. Shazan Bora just wanted to say hi to my professor. And please ask Leon to sing something. He's very good. So you're going to have to do that in the next 6 minutes. Oh, yes, you have.
Next episode.
Next episode.
I didn't bring my singing voice with me.
Fine, next episode, we'll record it right now. Parents and society don't instill the right form of ambition in the kids. Instead of encouraging the children to consciously think what they want in life, keeping themselves and their individuality in mind, they are conditioned to opt for certain career paths. Again, the fixture. This is Alia Javed saying, Ms. Aisha Zimi has said, reading, imagination, creation, we are taught to cram, not think. Once you stop thinking, you go stagnant. How true is that? That we are even in today's education, like the good schools, LUMS and Greenwich and Etchison, and are they still teaching them to cram and not to think for themselves?
There's a combination of both. The cramming is very essential to create the capacity in you for later on in life. If they don't, put 20 hours of work into 10 hours in the day, you're not going to get that stretch and then be prepared for real life.
I think by cram,
but the thinking part comes from the case studies and stuff that you do, or the own assignments that you're supposed to do, the presentations that you're supposed to do. That's where your thinking ability is supposed to come from. So, but I'll tell you something else I was thinking along when I was coming here, is that there's lots of other stuff that I have learned completely away from formal education about how we think, how we frame our thoughts, how we, imagine our future and then create that future. We think negatively. We are programmed to sabotage ourselves. All the language. In fact,
very well said.
This thing called neuro-linguistic programming will give you so many examples of how we say completely the wrong things and we disempower ourselves. I play a lot of golf. He's joking with me about golf. And one of the things that I always see with people is after they've hit a bad shot, they say, I knew I was going to do that. Of course, if you knew you were going to do it, that's what you're going to do. Which means in sports psychology, they always teach you how to think of the outcome that you want. When I started playing golf and I used to see the tree in front of me, the caddy would say, sir, there's the flag. I could see the tree, I couldn't see my goal. And somebody else very rightly put it by saying, an obstacle is what you see when you take your eye off the target. So this whole business of thinking and how we think about things is because of our programming from childhood.
Please sing for us. This is Sarah Khan Azimi. Please go, Pesal Qureshi, go for a break. I'm sure he'll get his singing voice. But Leon,
we've got on attention.
Leon's a tough cookie, but we'll get him back, I promise you, and we're going to take a commitment from him. We'll have to close in about 2-3 minutes. Any questions, comments you'd like to make right now for Leon before we close this, please?
There's a problem in us nowadays. I mean, we don't know much about ourselves. Actually, if you ask me to speak about myself for 5 minutes, I can't. We don't focus
tough one,
on
actually. I don't know if you can. You're full of yourself, but I don't think that.
I think, and we should be able to do that.
We should spend
okay, fine. I have an advantage here. I've lived longer than you have. But I'll tell you something.
You're not a day over 2 years older than me.
But the thing, and in fact, I was sharing with the class today, is that, look, have you lived an interesting life? You know, every Monday morning I'll ask them, so what did you do with your weekend? I always ask this question because I'm hoping that somebody will say, I jumped off a building with a parachute and, I went to Churna Island and I was diving or whatever it is. It's just to do exciting things in your life, Otherwise, it's just work, food, home, sleep, all the other things that we do with our eyes closed. We don't live with our eyes open.
It has to be beyond the ordinary.
And I just want to say something that it's for everybody, any student who's watching this and everybody out there, that Pakistan is a land of opportunities, and criticize and everything that's happening in Pakistan, be a part of it and change it positively. That is my message.
God, I have to read these messages. Sir Leon is a great person. He comes before everyone in classes, and he's an inspiration. Fatma Jafri, and I'm reading them without. So please do not tweet something wrong. I don't have the multitask capability to filter what you say. Barring MNCs, HR departments of Pakistani firms have no goal-setting exercises, no objective KPIs, and no solid performance measures. This is Mr. Sikandar Khan. Shahid Faiz says that's got Shahid. Again, wrong message. You should have said. No KPIs, no.
But that is not an HR function that the organization has to set, and it starts from the very top. Everybody's have to have goals to complete the annual plan for the year. What people also separately from that need individual development plans. So this year, this is what I'm going to do to improve myself, either in a functional competency or in a leadership competency or anything of the sort like that.
Yeah, thank you very much for the time out. Thank you very much for the time out. I'd like to just say this on a parting note. My personal experience, when we talk about being proactive, taking ownership of a job, what I've understood in my life is when you say take ownership, is we treat jobs like jobs. Of course, you're not the business owner. Of course, you don't own the organization. But if you have the mindset that I'm just here for a few months, I have another job, I'll just get out of here, the same negative programming that you're doing, you will never succeed in an organization because you're just waiting to get out. You've told yourself you have to bide your time, you have to get out of here. The same mindset when we talk about Pakistan or your own country. Malaysia has huge brain drain. When you go through school thinking, I just have to do this to somehow get out of here and do my master's in the US and live in Australia, that is what will happen to you. You will never succeed here. But if you come in with the mindset, here's an opportunity, I'm going to study, I'm going to make myself better, and I will do well, then God willing, you will do well. You just have to walk in with the right attitude and the right belief. And the only belief that you need to have after God is yourself. Until next time, good night.